The night air hung heavy and electric over the dusty expanse of New Mexico's desert, stars twinkling cold and distant as Jacob Elordi found himself suddenly yanked from a routine late-night walk into a surreal nightmare that unfolded faster than his mind could process. One moment he was admiring the quiet beauty of the horizon. The next he was blinded by a pulsating blue light that seemed to swallow the sky whole. His heart pounding like a wild drum as strong hands, firm yet oddly reverent, gripped him and whisked him away into the shadows, where eerie chanting echoed off the jagged rocks and a circle of robed figures awaited, their eyes alight with fervent belief and a sense of cosmic destiny that immediately flooded Jacob's veins with adrenaline and dread. Confusion collided with disbelief as he struggled to comprehend how the world had flipped upside down. Was this some elaborate prank, a hallucination, or had he truly been mistaken for an alien emperor sent to lead some secret celestial order? His breaths came shallow and fast, muscles tensed in fight-or-flight mode, but curiosity flickered beneath the surface of his anxiety, sparking a cautious boldness that refused to let panic consume him entirely, even as the cult's leader, a commanding woman named Saffron whose voice was both soothing and chilling, declared Jacob the chosen one, destined to unlock ancient powers buried deep beneath the New Mexico sands, and with her, a loyal follower named Leon, whose skeptical glances toward Jacob mirrored the actor's own incredulity and offered a glimmer of camaraderie amid the surreal chaos. The compound itself was a bizarre amalgam of high-tech equipment and ritualistic relics, glowing softly under dim red lights that cast long shadows on the sweat-slicked faces of the cultists, creating an atmosphere that teetered between calm reverence and underlying menace. And as Jacob's mind raced to piece together what lay ahead, he wrestled with a growing internal storm of fear, disbelief, and an odd flicker of excitement. This was no longer just a kidnapping, but an invitation into a world of mysteries that promised answers to questions he hadn't even thought to ask. And though the path forward was shrouded in uncertainty, one thing was crystal clear. Jacob's ordinary life had been irrevocably shattered, and the true adventure, one filled with danger, revelation, and the fight for identity, was only just beginning. The room was bathed in the soft glow of afternoon sunlight filtering through towering glass windows, casting intricate shadows over the gleaming chessboard where Anya Taylor-Joy sat poised, her fingers barely grazing the pieces as a hush fell over the small crowd gathered in the grand hall of the International Quantum Chess Championship, an event that seemed routine yet held an undercurrent of anticipation thick enough to crackle through the air like static electricity, and then, in a heartbeat, the very fabric of reality seemed to ripple as Anya made her first move, an elegant, almost imperceptible shift that sent a cascade of shimmering quantum waves pulsing through the board, the pieces flickering between states, caught in a dance of possibility and paradox, and with every subsequent move, the crowd's awe turned to disbelief, their murmurs fading into stunned silence as the impossible unfolded before their eyes. Anya was not merely playing chess. She was bending time, space, and the laws of physics into a symphony of strategy that defied comprehension, her calm, radiant composure masking the whirlwind inside her mind where exhilaration battled with a creeping sense of the unfathomable responsibility dawning upon her. Her heart pounded, a curious blend of thrill and dread as she felt herself slipping further into a realm where every move didn't just shift pieces but reshaped existence itself, fracturing reality with each calculated strike. And though part of her, a fierce, adventurous spirit, yearned to explore the limitless potential of her newfound power, another part, deeply skeptical and grounded, grappled with the terrifying implications of tampering with forces far beyond human understanding. At her side was Miles, her longtime coach and friend, whose wide eyes betrayed a mix of pride and fear, his steady presence a tether to the known world even as the air around them shimmered with quantum uncertainty, while in the shadows lingered Dr. Evelyn Graves, a mysterious physicist whose quiet obsession with Anya's abilities hinted at secrets yet to be revealed, her motives as enigmatic as the game unfolding. The grand hall itself felt suspended between calm and chaos, the gleaming marble floors reflecting flickers of alternate realities as the walls seemed to pulse with energy, the usual hum of spectators replaced by a collective breath held in wonder and fear, and as Anya prepared for her 12th and final move, The weight of what she was about to accomplish pressed down like a cosmic mantle. This was no ordinary match, but a pivotal moment where human ingenuity collided with the quantum unknown, and the true adventure, fraught with infinite possibilities and peril, was just beginning to unravel. As the echoes of Anya's final victorious move reverberated through the hall and reality itself seemed to momentarily hold its breath, the initial shock that had swept through the crowd began to settle into a tense, palpable stillness, and now faced with the dizzying aftermath of having not only defeated reality in 12 moves but also unlocked an unfathomable quantum consciousness within herself. Anya's mind raced to grasp the enormity of what she'd unleashed. She was no longer just a chess master but a living nexus of intertwined possibilities, caught between dimensions where every thought could ripple through time and space with unpredictable consequences. And so, despite the overwhelming awe and the creeping terror of her new existence, she resolved to confront this bewildering new reality head-on, reaching out to Miles, whose unwavering faith in her grounded her, and to Dr. Evelyn Graves, whose cryptic warnings about the dangers of manipulating the quantum fabric hinted at deeper layers of peril and intrigue, pushing Anya to dive into a labyrinthine investigation that spanned ancient scientific tomes, cutting-edge quantum theory, and esoteric texts that blurred the line between science and mysticism. Yet with each revelation came daunting obstacles. Physically, the world around her seemed to flicker and distort unpredictably, objects phasing in and out of existence, gravity bending subtly at the edges of perception, while emotionally, Anya wrestled with isolation. The crushing loneliness of wielding such power in a reality that felt increasingly alien, her bold, adventurous spirit clashing with bouts of crippling self-doubt and fear of losing herself to the infinite quantum chaos. New allies emerged too. Lila, a brilliant but enigmatic mathematician whose own reality had fractured under similar strains and who saw in Anya a kindred spirit and partner in unraveling the cosmic puzzle, while lurking adversaries, shadowy entities born from the destabilized quantum realms, began to close in, their motives inscrutable but clearly tied to reclaiming control over the fractured continuum. As Anya, Miles, and Lila navigated this treacherous landscape, every step forward birthed more questions than answers, and the stakes escalated beyond personal survival to the fate of existence itself, weaving a tension so thick it seemed to hum in the air. With the quantum game having shifted from a board of black and white squares into a sprawling, multidimensional battlefield where mystery and danger lurked at every turn, and as Anya steadied herself for what lay ahead, she knew that this journey, one of courage, discovery, and profound sacrifice, was only just beginning, with the fate of reality hanging precariously in the balance. As the swirling chaos of fractured realities simmered to a tense stillness, Anya, Miles, and Lila found themselves on the razor's edge of destiny, the weight of their journey pressing down like the gravity of a collapsing star, each of them steeling their minds and bodies in a solemn ritual of preparation that transcended the physical. Anya meditated deeply, harnessing the quantum energies coursing through her veins, visualizing the infinite branching timelines and converging possibilities with laser focus, while Miles meticulously calibrated the experimental tech that could anchor their consciousness against the impending tempest, and Lila pored over arcane algorithms and paradoxical equations that might unravel the dark fabric enveloping their foe. The antagonist, now fully revealed, was a sentient quantum anomaly known only as the Null, an entity born from the void between realities, a ravenous force that thrived on entropy and chaos, seeking to consume the multiverse and erase existence itself. Yet, for all its dread power, the Null's weakness lay in its paradoxical nature. It was both everywhere and nowhere, bound by the very laws of quantum mechanics that Anya had begun to master, susceptible to disruptions in the delicate balance of causality and coherence. Their strategy was audacious and desperate, to use Anya's unique connection to quantum reality as a living conduit, amplifying Lila's algorithms and Miles's tech to create a feedback loop that could destabilize the Null's core, fracturing its form long enough to seal it away in a quantum prison forged from the very threads of existence. In the calm before the storm, the trio shared a quiet moment heavy with unspoken fears and fierce resolve, their bonds forged in the crucible of uncertainty, knowing full well that the coming battle could unravel their minds or shatter their souls, and with a final glance exchanged, a mixture of hope, fear, and unyielding courage, they stepped forward into the unknown. The air crackled with charged anticipation, the very fabric of reality seeming to hold its breath as Anya's heartbeat synced with the quantum pulses around them, every decision made now a fulcrum upon which the fate of infinite worlds balanced precariously, the tension mounting to a crescendo that promised either salvation or oblivion, as the final confrontation loomed like a cosmic storm ready to consume everything in its path. In the dizzying maelstrom of collapsing realities and fracturing timelines, Anya, Miles, and Lila stood as the last bastion against the null's all-consuming void, the final confrontation erupting with the force of a cosmic supernova. Anya's mind became a battlefield of infinite possibilities, each quantum move a gambit in a game where the stakes were the very essence of existence. Her body trembling under the strain as waves of temporal distortion slammed into her consciousness, while Miles' technology hummed with desperate intensity, tethering their fractured realities and amplifying Lila's mathematical incantations into a symphony of hope amidst the chaos. Yet the psychological toll was immense. Anya battled not only an external force but the creeping despair of erasure, the temptation to surrender to oblivion gnawing at her soul, and the weight of potential sacrifice pressed heavily as she realized the quantum prison they intended to forge might demand her own permanent entrapment as a living key, a price she was willing to pay to save all that was. The defining moment, the fulcrum of fate, came when Anya, facing the null's tendrils of chaos threatening to tear apart her very identity, channeled every fragment of her fractured self into a singular act of will, collapsing the infinite branches of possibility into one decisive move that shattered the null's coherence, a dazzling explosion of light and shadow that rewove the tapestry of reality, leaving the void sealed. But at great cost, Anya's consciousness became irreversibly intertwined with the quantum fabric, forever changed, no longer fully human but a guardian of balance between worlds. In the quiet aftermath, Miles and Lila mourned the loss of their friend as she faded into the interdimensional ether, yet their grief was tempered by the profound impact of their sacrifice. The multiverse stabilized, the cosmic balance restored, but the knowledge that such threats could rise again lingered. The world, oblivious to the cosmic war that had just been won, continued on, yet forever imprinted by the silent heroism of those who stand against the darkness. Anya's journey transformed her from a mere chess prodigy to an eternal sentinel of existence, a legend whispered across dimensions, inspiring awe and hope. And as the story closes on this extraordinary saga, dear reader, remember to subscribe for more mind-bending adventures, because the quantum game is never truly over, and the next move is always waiting in the infinite expanse beyond.